Chapter 2, Night Over Day.
It's as if there's a dark shadow surrounding you. You don't see it. You don't know it's there.
Michael's last chat post on Facebook trailed off. Tingles spread across my skin like wildfire as I continued on being a skeptic. I don't know what you expect me to believe, Michael. I've never even had a conversation with you in person before. Do you realize how ridiculous all this is? You telling me about my connection with a diabolical entity on Facebook? Why not send me a tweet about it?
Believe whatever you want, but in the event that it's real, doubting it wouldn't change anything.
I glared at the computer screen, wondering why he loved playing his sadistic tricks with my mind. I couldn't trust him. He warned me about his urges to break me down.
Let me tell you this. He's made of power and pure animosity. Even a true sociopath is practically benevolent and caring compared to him. There is no humanity there. Not one shred of mercy or restraint. If he gets in, you and your family will be torn apart. Don't listen to him. He wants you dead. He wants to kill anybody he sees as a hindrance. And if he gets a chance to cause actual physical harm, he'll need a host. He will. He knows you're expecting him, so if he's gonna be able to come in, he's gonna have to trick you in some way. That's one reason I prefer night over day. I can always feel that they're out there. But at night, I can at least tell myself, maybe it's just my mind playing with me. When he came last time, the darkness in the room started flowing outward and engulfed the moonlight coming in through the window. I had prayed a lot earlier, so the feeling of his presence was kept away. I think he was just gloating. I could feel him smiling. Even if none of this means anything to you, just listen to me. Believe he's there. Knowing that and being aware of that will protect you. Amaterasu, Japanese for black fire, was a name that occurred to me because the malevolence and malice that is felt in the air when he comes is far beyond anything imaginable. Other demons don't even come close. It's so intense that it feels like the very air around you is on fire. A fire of hatred.
I saw his thoughts were still going, so I let him continue to write. Besides, it would take me some time to come up with some response to all this anyway, and he hated it when I interrupted him.
He'd be massive and staring down on me, but I'd be unable to do anything else but stay still. Sometimes it felt like there was an angel in between providing a feeling of calm. But I can always feel his malice lingering. There's always multiple voices, but the only purpose the other voices have ever served were just to further overwhelm me under his presence.
Michael on the outside was just a normal sort of punk guy, but on the inside he was strange. I was made aware of that when he sent me a list of his diagnosed and undiagnosed psychological problems the first time we had a conversation. He was the only one I had ever met in my life who ever declared hearing the voices of demons in his mind since he was a child. He watched them show up in his room, and they were so black that the darkness of his room turned gray in comparison. He hated God because he hadn't protected him from the demons, even when he had cried out for salvation. It was wrong for him, I believed, to blame his issues on God, but still, it was amazing how much he had told me about himself, over Facebook of all things, unraveling a whole world I wasn't expecting, which included a lifetime of being called a waste of sperm by his mother and being hit with a Bible by her until he was black and blue, and which also included stories of his connections to a world I really didn't understand. His sadism and other psychological issues, the voices in his mind, his drug abuse and alcoholism, his impenetrable apathy, and most prominently, his demon issue. That is what we talked about. I thought he was a crazy, and his thoughts were probably just the product of neurological damage from drug consumption in his early teenage years. So who knows why I kept listening to him? In all honesty, I felt pulled to him like a moth to a flame. I knew he couldn't possibly be good for me. We were so different. But he lit my curiosity, and now it was burning. I wanted to keep talking to him, but I forced myself to shut the screen of my laptop and put it on my bedside table. I laid down and looked up at the dark ceiling. He was the only one who had ever dared to get this close. I thought about a family picture I'd seen of him. He was wearing a black suit that worked well with his very black hair. His sister was very petite, blonde hair. The father looked none too different than most average American males. His mom's face I lingered over for a little longer. She had choppy blonde hair and the sort of southern housewife smile that would have made her almost unrecognizable as a narcissistic, abusive alcoholic. She had the same slight squint to her black eyes like Michael's. My phone buzzed on my dresser. It was a text from him.
"Meet me outside,"
he said.